Hello everyone and welcome back to the BUSR Winter Series. It is round 5. We are off to North Yorkshire to the lovely British Croft Circuit, and I am joined here by my American friend Ozzy. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. This past week's been a bit of a roller coaster. I remember the last session talked about I had an economics exam that I had to study for. Bad news and good news. Bad news, mini panic attack, not the end of the world though. Good news, 80.8% on the exam. So considering it's very tough material, yeah. Also, we got 8 to 12 inches of snow last night.
Not a problem we've had in the UK. We had a bit of rain. Yeah, it's a bit of rain midday today, but not
Yeah.
really 8 to 12 inches of snow.
Yeah, in the early November. If you know anything about Michigan weather, it's basically Florida weather, except there's also extreme snow during the winter. So
I'm sure that makes walking to lectures a rather interesting experience.
yes. Well, I don't walk to lectures. I commute over an hour. So driving on I-94, it's basically like being stuck in one of the deep circles of hell, that or purgatory. But regardless, I'm a valuable driver, so it's like, maybe not in terms of racing, but I hold my own.
Yeah, there we go. On speaking of racing, yep, this is actually sim racing. We're not here to talk about university, as even though that is in the title, the sim racing part is more important than the university part, of course. We've got two 20-minute races coming up after our qualifying session. We are racing in GT4 Ginetta cars. If you're not familiar with them by now, where have you been? They have got Ford V6s up front, 400 or so horsepower. They weigh just over the ton in terms of kilos, not in terms of pounds, because we're British, and they're pretty rapid. They're a little bit on the edge of the handling. They're very easy to spin if you get it wrong, but overall they are very interesting cars to drive, and I think Croft is going to be an interesting circuit given what we've seen of it, well, on track maps and in real racing.
Yeah, and and I honestly, I don't drive a Ginetta myself. I drive a car, I guess you could say it's similarly shaped to Honda Civic, but yeah, no, these Ginettas have been, they've been handling quite well, especially in the first half of the race. Now we've got the second half where a bunch is on the line now. Our standings as well, overall, we have got ourselves a 2-horse race so far. Leading it right now is Lorenzo Gualtieri, who is, I believe he's in the open class. I could be mistaken. He has 119 points to his name. 3 points behind him, the current leader in the student class, Aiden Larson. And in third place overall, leading the alumni class, is Thomas Hughes with 98 points. Kessis and Dajkoy both in open. They round out the top 5 with 90 and 80 points respectively, but we still have 4 more races and it is very close overall. In terms of classes though, it looks like we've got a clear-cut winner, barring any sort of major catastrophe that happens along the line, but anything can happen at this point.
Definitely. I mean, it's 20 points for a race win, so a 2 or 3 point gap is not. It's not nothing, but also it's pretty much nothing when it's 20 points for a race win. And there's also points for qualifying, 6 points for pole position, 5, 4, 3, all the way down to 1 point, and then nothing for the rest. Whereas racing, you score points. Pretty much the top 15 all score something. By the end, it's only sort of 1 point, but they do score everything. So as we've only got 15 cars here at Croft, even finishing the race will net you valuable points, which may not be important come the end of the season for some drivers, but for those ones who are sort of towards the back of the pack, the extra 1, 2, 3, 4 points could be the difference in multiple positions or even class positions. So that everything is to play for, despite there only being 15 cars. It just means that you've got to fight extra hard for those bottom couple of points.
And, at least you've got yourself a participation medal for making it this far. I guess that could also work out as well. As we're looking at our qualifying here, it looks like everything, the timing thing, it looks like it's not really going on here. I gotta refer to my second one here. Provisionally, it looks like Archie O'Leary has the lead with a 1:28.733, which is, I think that's pretty nice coming out of the gate. Aiden Larson and Adam Bent have also recorded times. Aiden has, he's won himself a few races, and as I mentioned before, he is the current he is the current. Goodness gracious, I gotta refer to my spreadsheet into what class. He's a student, obviously. He is our current student leader at 116. Interesting to say as well, Lorenzo Gualtieri, he was a no-show at Norris Ring, but that has allowed Aiden to catch back up because Aiden was a no-show at Sonoma, which I was also a no-show at, funnily enough. So this race has a lot on the line in terms of the implications for who could take the lead coming out of it. And looking at the standings here, yeah, Aiden and Lorenzo 1 and 2 in no particular order. That's probably to be expected. But we've seen some upsets before, even when both cars are on the track.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting circuit for those of you who are not familiar with Croft. It is, like I said at the start of the broadcast, a lovely spin there from Adam Bent, just thought I'd comment on that. It is in North Yorkshire, so it's well out of the way of most of what you might call city-built civilised world. Nestled in amongst a bunch of fields and trees, you can see it's got a lovely amount, got 16 turns, so quite a lot of them. But if you look at the track map, you'll notice a lot of them are like this section here, like the chicane. They're all in sort of little clumps, so it's not an overly complicated track, assuming you don't monster a curb and fly off somewhere towards Scotland. You'll probably be okay. Lap times have got down into the 1 minute 22s for our front runners, so that's sort of what we're expecting from practice and testing, is that 1 minute 22. The lower you can get in the 122s, the better chance you have of being on pole position. But yeah, 16 turns, 2 and a bit miles. It's our second shortest track of the season. And if we ignore Norris Ring, is the shortest track of the season by quite a chunk so far at least. So it should mean that the pack is nice and close together as they go flying through all the very complicated corners here.
Yeah, and more turns as well in terms of a single lap of the track, you know, and it's not as fast, mind you, but there are still some very interesting turns. Like there's the hairpin after the complex before the start-finish line to end a lap. Normally we see some of those sharper hairpin-esque turns at the beginning of the lap. Particularly, we saw that with Norris Ring in the last time as well, and I think we saw that at Burnau as well. So a little bit of a deviation from the current trend that we've seen. There is a massive hairpin of significance. However, it is at the end of the lap as opposed to the beginning of the lap. So you know, it's still a familiar challenge, but in an unfamiliar position.
Definitely, and if any of you are wondering why you recognise the circuit, especially this sort of view here of the cars coming through the hairpin, that will be because you've seen it at the British Touring Car Championship. They visit here every year, and that corner is always a bit contact heavy, shall we say, very reminiscent of the final turn at Sonoma when we went there 4 weeks ago. It's going to involve probably quite a lot of door banging, I'd imagine. It's a very tight corner. It comes straight after the complex, which is a series of complex corners now that we can see Ten Masson coming down towards just out of the complex into the hairpin. It's a complicated corner, especially in a rear-wheel drive car. You've got to balance pitching the front in, getting the rear to come round behind you, but not so far behind you end up facing the wrong way, which is going to be crucial to not only hooking up a lap, but also making overtakes. Aiden Larson currently still sitting on pole position with scratch that. Has just gone quicker. A 1 minute 22 and a quarter. Commentators curse there for Aiden. Luckily, it wasn't in the race, so we can recover from that. But there we go. New pole position. Just like I say, there wasn't one.
Yeah, it never usually happens that quickly. Oh my goodness. And John B is also within the 122s as well. John has had himself a pretty, I guess, up and down sort of race. I mean, he started out outside the top 10 at Alton Park, finishing 15th in quali in the first race, 11th in race 2. Picked it up at Sonoma with a top 10 in race 1, and then stayed in the top 10 through quali and both races at Burnau, netting himself a pair of 4th places in the process. Then Norris Ring, he got 6th in qualifying, 9th in the first race, but lost his top 10 streak with a, I believe, 13th place finish in race 2. So good for John B. And it looks like Kessis will join them in the 122s as well. Kessis in the top 5 of our overall standings. So we've got some nice races. Also, Ben Choi in 5th place qualifying so far. He's kind of been making himself known. A couple of top 10 finishes at Norris Ring as well. He joined the pack, I believe, at Burnout. So good for him making himself known as well. So definitely some shuffling around. You can see there's been some improvements as well with certain racers that, you know, you might not have thought too much of them going into these races, but they have one goal in mind, and that is to make themselves known to the rest of the field. So that is definitely going to make things a bit interesting, I feel. Even with the battle between Lorenzo and Aiden for first place in not just these races, but also the overall standings, you know, there's definitely some interesting fights that we've seen throughout the back half of the week.
Definitely, and a word on that sudden turn of pace from some drivers who've had a rubbish start to the season but have since gained pace. There is a ballast system in place, so like touring cars of old, so sort of 2017-ish, sort of that type of time, there is a ballast system. So there's a success ballast based on championship position, which means that Lorenzo and Aiden's cars are chocked full of 50 plus kilos of virtual weight, whereas cars who've had moderate to low success for the rest of the season, like Ben Choi or Vien Tran, for example, they've got no ballast, so they will, if they have ballast, it'll be a lot less, which means that in theory they should be lighter on tyres, lighter on fuel, and most importantly, a lighter car, and therefore a quicker car now. But that does not seem to deter our front runners. New fastest lap for Aiden, a 1:22.3, is not quick enough to catch up to Lorenzo though, so he's going to stay where he is for now, behind the man we're currently watching take turn 1. John B's having a little spin there. No idea what he's thinking coming out of the complex, but definitely not facing the right direction, like we said. A very hard set of corners to get right. This circuit is quite a quick one. There's quite a lot of twisty corners connected by some very long straights, so don't be surprised if we see a lot of slipstream overtakes down into turns like Tower, Jim Clark S's, and then Barcroft before Sunny in. Here we have Adam Ben not having the best qualifying of his year so far, just can't hook the lap up, running a little bit wide out of the complex there. Got to get it back round to the other side of the circuit, round the hairpin to finish off his lap. Let's see what he can do with that. Doesn't appear to be improving on the timing sheets, but let's see if he comes across the line and can do any better.
Oh, he does!
He does improve in the last sector there. Very well done, Adam. I'm very sorry. A 1:25.154 for him gets him 12th place. He's had an up and down season, Adam. Amazing start at Sonoma in race 2. I often say that he's one of the best starters on the grid, but just cannot seem to put that performance down for the full 20 minutes, which is definitely something to watch out for. If he gets a reverse grid pole, he could be off like a rocket.
That's true, and he has had some great success at Norris Ring as well. He was in the top 10, finishing in both races, despite a 14th place in quali, if I recall correctly. So, you know, and he's a great race organizer. We always say this about Adam, you know, and you know, I'm glad that he's improving. Maybe it's the ballasts going into place, but you know, it's great to see him keeping it up with the big dogs as well. And you know, even with that ballast system, you know, you said before it doesn't deter Lorenzo or Aiden, you know, and the fact that they are managing to not only stay on track, but also stay in the lead as well. It's a testament to the skill of these races. So and looking here at Lorenzo, he's still got that's a 600ths of a second advantage over Aiden, who, I mean, we saw the improvement in that lap, but that's just that reminder that you're always going to have someone breathing down the back of your neck. You know, you've got an Aussie in your rear view mirror, and he is rapidly approaching as those mirrors may quote, objects are closer than they appear.
Definitely, and Lorenzo needs to watch out off the race start here. It's a pretty long run down to Clervaux and then into Hawthorne for turn 1 and 2, which is where we're seeing Lorenzo go now. It's a long old run. You just see how much time that these guys have got to figure themselves out before they come into Clervaux there, and then left and right through Hawthorns. So that is another place where we could see a big accident there. If someone tries to put a nose up the inside, there is going to end up being cars in the gravel. Qualifying, we're nearly done now, only 7 minutes to go, don't worry. There will be racing soon. We'll have 2 20-minute races coming up for you, and I'm thrilled given how close, well, it's not really a surprise that Lorenzo and Aiden are close together, but it's good to see that they're both here and both on form at this track, which isn't commonly seen in many sim games.
Yeah, and at the same time, there's still that interesting factor of, they're not the only ones who are going to be putting up a fight, as we've obviously seen from these races. We've got two cars that are within the same second in terms of their best lap of qualifying. So it's just proving that anyone can make themselves known at this point, and anyone can really catch up if they figure out a way to, shave off those seconds and keep it clean around these, twisty, turdy corners that North Yorkshire has to offer. And, well, I don't really know where to take this other than, and actually, Lorenzo gave me something to take on as he's improved to 22.075. That is quite the improvement. Extra pressure now on Aiden Larson, wouldn't you say?
Definitely, that is the first lap time we've seen get even remotely close to breaking the 122 barrier, getting into the 121s. We'd love to see it here. It'd be an incredible feat for someone to pull off a 121. I wouldn't be surprised if we get it, but equally, that was an absolutely stellar lap. Aiden currently going slightly slower than Lorenzo through sector 1. We'll have to see how the rest of his lap goes now. We're on board with, well, watching the Australian down at the end of one of the big, long straights here, just coming around the bottom of the track, through Sunny in and then through Sunny out, down towards the compact. This is where lap time is won or lost. His second sector is coming in very shortly. It is doesn't look to be anything of mightily impressive. We'll have to see how he goes there. Just a little bit of, probably a 10th down through sector 1 and through sector 2 for Aiden. Maybe he might put in an absolutely stellar third sector through the complex. Now coming out of the hairpin, puts the power down. Will he be able to get to the line fast enough to claim back all of that time and take pole position from Lorenzo?
Looks like no.
No, not quite. Not an improvement. Just very close. So he's definitely consistent. He can consistently put in a 122.3. The problem is he can't consistently put in a 122.0, and that's what's going to struggle here, as we see Josh Hughes deciding to have a crash coming out of the hairpin and back into the pits for him.
Yeah, notable about that 22.75 from Lorenzo Gualtieri. He went purple on sector 2, so that kind of ties into what you were saying about that second sector making or breaking a lap, as we see John B making an improvement, leapfrogging Kessis into third place with a 22.528. That is also closer to Aiden Larson as well. And we've seen the success from John B as well. Yeah, so that second sector is seeming to make or break as well. Even if you don't go purple on that sector, if you just keep that clean and you get yourself some improvements on the other sectors. For example, John B, this last lap, he went purple on sector 1. It's going to show in the timesheet what kind of improvement can be made. You just got to keep it clean on sector 2. You don't necessarily have to focus all of your might on sector 2, but if you're able to make an improvement somewhere else and keep it clean on sector 2, you have a good chance at improvement. As you see Aiden coming across the line, it was a 1:23.26, I believe.
Yeah, not Aiden's stellar lap though. We saw the car get a bunch of wheel spin coming out of the hairpin, which just compromised his lap. We lost about 2/10 in that move alone, but he was already down before then, so didn't really have much going for him on that lap. Going to try again. Still got 3 minutes of qualifying to go. He can easily get in 2 laps, if not 3, if he's careful, if he's quick. So he's got time to improve. Lorenzo still is in the pit lane. There is no more lap times being set from that car. Adam Bent is still going around there. We see him come across the line. No improvement of lap time for him appearing on the timing screen there. Just shows that people are putting their absolute limit out there, but there might not be any more left in it. This track is one to master with all the different curbs and the flat out sections. Aiden still going around. He's flicking around roughly the same lap time as before, not showing the improvement the Australian needs to take pole position. All of his rivals are in the pit, so I doubt we'll see another lap from Lorenzo or John B or Kessler, so he can put it all out on the table there. No repairs to be done between races, so we have not got to be worried about destroying the car. Alex Hughes there in 7th place sets a new best lap of the session for him. Here we go, Aiden coming through the hairpin. It's flicking around whether he's going to be quicker or not. I can't quite tell until he gets to the line. Probably not with that wheel spin though. Is he going to have another go? Here we go. He's got 2 minutes to go, so he'll get 2 laps in after this one. Yeah. That last lap was a 22.5, so not good enough from him. He is pushing to his absolute limit to try and find that magical 121.9.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, too, Aiden Larson has he has 9 kilograms less of ballast, um, as Lorenzo has. Lorenzo's got 75 kg. Aiden's got 66 kg. I do have that info on the timesheet. I just clicked some settings around. So the fact that Lorenzo is keeping things faster, even with more ballast, that's gonna look pretty damning on Aiden's part. And he needs every last second to get around and just get this improvement down. It looks like he's getting himself a nice little sector. He went 24.159 on that first sector as he's on the current lap. We'll see what it brings on the second sector as well. If he goes purple on the second, that is going to probably get himself a good chance at taking over Lorenzo. He's still keeping it clean as well around this big turn there. Alex Hughes with a server PB as well, and trying to just find him on the stat sheet. He went 41.5 on sector 2, going around that hairpin. I don't know if there's going to be any improvements here, but
no, that was not a good lap from Aiden. Yeah. That was well over the 23-second mark. He's got one last try now. This is the final lap for Aiden. Will he be able to put in that magical pole time he has been hunting so desperately for? A lot of cars still in the pit lane, not setting any more lap times for Sam Knight. Tim Mason's in, Vien Tran's in, Alex Hughes is in, Lorenzo's in, John B and Kessels are all in the pit lane there. So we're going to have to see what's going to happen. Dak Choi is coming towards the end of their qualifying session. They're going to sneak through for one more lap if they so wish to use it. So will Adam, Ben. Let's see what these two guys can do. Both of them currently sitting at the back end of the top 10. Adam's got no ballast, whereas Dak Choi has got quite a hefty 39 kilos aboard his Ginetta, which when the car only weighs 1 and a bit tons is quite a big difference in performance. Thomas Hughes is somewhere on shot right now. There he is coming through, I believe. Oh no, never mind, that's Aiden Larson. There's Thomas Hughes, the man currently in 8th in that lovely turquoise blue car with the gear stick sort of sticker on the side into the complex there. Twitch on the way in for Thomas Hughes. That is going to compromise his run all the way through the car. Obviously very loose, long shot, straight wide. That is lap over for Thomas Hughes and session over because now the clock has hit 0. These are the laps that matter. Aiden is in the pit lane. That is his session over. That is pole position as good as done for Lorenzo. He's just got to worry about Archie O'Leary, who doesn't appear to be making enough of an improvement. He is improving on our timing, but will he improve enough over the line to take pole position? Seems highly unlikely. Comes across the line, sets a new best, improves time, but does not improve his position. Stays 5th place. Just Adam Bent circling now. Poor lonely guy. Down in 11th, last car on the circuit. He improved in sector 1, but his sector 2 has been a little bit weak. The man, as Ozzy said, from Wrexham here, not quite found the pace he is after in this session. We always knew he was more of a race man than a qualifying man though, so we might get to see him charge through the field in about 10 minutes time at the start of race 1. Now Twitch out of the last corner and Adam brings it over the line. Not an improvement in terms of time for him on that lap. Means that qualifying is now as good as done. Lovely skid there from Adam, just showing off the might and agility of the Ginetta. But there we have it, qualifying for round 5 of the championship done, and pole position goes to the man behind the banister, Lorenzo Gualtieri, ahead of his championship rival Aiden Larson.
Yeah, and quite an interesting top 10 as well. And that last lap too from Archie. I mean, sure, it wasn't an improvement in position, but that did take him inside the 122 range. So the top half of the top 10, our top 5, that was a redundant phrase, is within the 122 margin. Of course, Lorenzo very, very close to breaking into the 121s. We'll see if that happens during the race. Still all around a great qualifying here on such a complex track with a section called the Complex in Croft. Do you have any predictions for who is going to win this? Do you think it's going to be Lorenzo going in all the way, or do you think there's going to be a bit of a shift?
Well, one thing I noticed is that Aiden's lap times were military levels of consistent precision. They were pretty much constantly between a 122.3 and a 120, between that sort of margin of about about 0.3 to 0.5 seconds sort of the second. So he's got the pace in him consistently, which is what matters over a 20-minute race. He's going to be near the front. The problem is that we don't know what Lorenzo can do. He only did one fast lap of real significant note, which gave him that sort of... He did one that was a 22.2, and then he put in that magical 22 naught. So we'll have to see which lap time he's putting in the race. If he's consistently doing 122 noughts, this is Lorenzo's every day of the week, he'll be running off by the end of lap 1. If he's further back at the 122, 2, 3, 4 kind of range, then we've got a race in our hands. I firmly believe that. And with the heavier ballast on Lorenzo, you have to think that will affect him even more as the race goes on, especially with heavy fuel load. Because, of course, this is a 20-minute plus 1 lap race. They're going to be running a lot more fuel than you ever would do in a qualifying session. So his car is going to be even heavier again starting the next race.
Yeah, so I honestly think it's going to be more of... I honestly think this could go either way, especially when you consider the that Aiden is more consistent, as you brought up, with lap times, but at the same time, Lorenzo has that single lap capability. It's going to be the issues of consistency, the ballasts. It's just going to be who's going to blink first. Unfortunately, someone has to lose out on that first place, but regardless of who it is, I expect a very good battle, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's probably going to be Aiden winning this one. And I'm not just saying this because it would make the standings more interesting in the grand scheme of things, but it just has everything to do with Aiden being able to battle and take a place at will. Of course, Lorenzo can do that just as much. These two races are very similar in their style and skill level, but I think Aiden's got a better shot, all things considered, because he got the win at Norris Ring. He's got more race wins all time through this series as well. He has 3 to Lorenzo's 2. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to see what both of these races will bring.
Definitely. I think I'm going to go, well, just to be different, I'm going to go for Lorenzo. But if you're asking me genuinely, I'd put my money on Aiden. I think that he's just the more consistent driver so far this season, less prone to accidents that really is his fault. So if he's at the front and can get that lead, well, even if he just sticks behind Lorenzo, you've got to think of the two. Your money's on Aiden to put in the overtake and then just pull away steadily, putting in good laps. Please don't go anywhere. There is going to be some racing soon. We'll have 2 20-minute races for you. Both races will be 20 minutes and then plus 1 lap. So that you cannot forget about that last lap. But also, the second race is a reverse grid race. So the bottom 10 of race 1 will be flipped. 10th place becomes pole. First place will start the second race in 10th, which is a one-way ticket to a monumental crash. The last 2 rounds at Norris Ring and Brno have both had red flags on lap 1 due to those crashes, and you've got to think Woolcroft do the same thing. Clervaux, Hawthorne is a pretty complicated pair of corners in terms of overtaking opportunities. It's a very long run down the main straight, so there's definitely a chance of that. So you've got to hope that we can get cleanly through turn 1, especially if you're on Team Aiden or Team Lorenzo. They both need a clean start. You've got to be thinking.
Yeah, and you obviously know this Trek better than I do. But yeah, no, that chicane could definitely bring about some interesting position changes as well. These long straightaways as well. A very stark contrast to Norris Ring, where you didn't really have any space to overtake. You've got all the space in the world with all these straightaways, especially the start-finish straight and the space between the chicane and the tower bend, and then around the Jim Clark S's. And even after sunny out, there's a myriad of opportunities to overtake, especially especially in a big fight like we could see between Aiden and Lorenzo. So
definitely, there is always room to make a move here. Your places to watch is definitely turn 1 at Clervaux, and then down into Sunny Inn, or even into the complex if you're really, really stretching the limits. But here we go. For race 1 of the day, round 5 of the BUSR Winter Series, we are at the Croft Circuit. We are in a bunch of lovely Ginetta GT4 cars. Lorenzo Gualtieri starts the cars on pole, light on. There we go, rock and roll, let's go racing for round 5 of the championship. Race 1, here we go. Monster start from Aiden Larson there, puts him ahead. Lorenzo's coming back at him though as we go down towards turn 1 there, side by side into the first corner. Everyone seems to be reasonably cleanly in. Lorenzo, there's a contact between our leaders. Both of our championship leaders are off at turn 1. I repeat, that is contact between the championship leaders. Lorenzo and Aiden Larson both out of the race, at least at the start of the lap there. Hopefully they can both get going again. There's another car off. I think that's one of the Hugheses has spun off on the inside of the chicane there, which means that John B is leading ahead of Archie O'Leary, Thomas Hughes, and then Alex Hughes and Kessers. But that is it. That was a monumental moment in our championship. Both Lorenzo and Aiden put themselves, well, definitely was contact. We don't know who was at fault yet, but there was contact between those two now. They're both fighting their way back through the pack. Sam Knight is currently in the sandwich of championship leaders here, which is where you really do not want to be, especially on the race start. Aiden going up the inside of Sam there. A little bit of contact with the curb cleanly through for Aiden, who makes it through. Another move coming there for Caleb Tate. And now there's a move around the outside for Lorenzo Gualtieri. Can he make it stick? He probably will get it on the left on the way into the next corner. Just making it there. He goes through up into 8th place. But what an opening lap of chaos. John B leads. There's contact behind. Aiden punts the car off. I'm not sure who was at fault there. I said Aiden punts off. Probably wasn't Aiden's fault. We'll never know because we don't have replays. John B leading. Archie O'Leary nose to tail down into turn 1. I'm going to take a breath and let Ozzy take over.
Yeah, and 2 purple sectors for John B on that lap. Sectors 1 and 3. Purple on sector 2 as well for Archie O'Leary. Very good start for both of these cars. And trust me, if we know anything about Aiden Larson and Lorenzo Gualtieri through these races, if they get taken out to the back half of the pack, they both will fight their way back. And I never thought that I could potentially see not just one racer making a massive leap from the back half all the way up to near pole, but we could see it happen in 2 instances in the same race. We've got action now on Kesses, who is between Alex Hughes and Ben Choi. Kesses, as I brought up before, is within our top 5 of the overall standings. He is less than a quarter of a second behind Alex Hughes, trying to make a move around this corner, staying clean, going sunny in, sunny out. It's looking very it's looking like it's very interesting here. Both cars a little bit on the grass there, but that's pretty standard for these laps. And there's the move from Aiden Larson over Tim Mason, sniffing the back half of the top 10 behind Josh Hughes, about a second and a half, but that can easily be made up as Aiden Larson, and I saw the contact between those two. And like you said, I'm not sure who's at fault, but yeah, it's wow, what a start here so far. As you see some cars going around the chicane. Lorenzo Gualtieri at the back of Adam Bent. He sets the new fastest lap of this race, as to be expected, with purple sectors on 2 and 3. Very good for him. He can easily make up that time and get around Adam Bent in this turn here. Trying to make a move, thought about it, but he just twitched there. So they're going around this chicane. And yeah, oh my goodness gracious, what a start to this race.
This is exactly why we come GT racing, and exactly why we hop the tracks like Croft, because they just provide such interesting carnage is the wrong word. Interesting racing there. Adam Bend and Lorenzo going side by side out of Tower Bend down towards the Jim Clark S's. Lorenzo falls back into line formation. These cars are nose to tail. There is no room to breathe. If either of them breaks at the wrong time, we're going to have an accident, but hopefully they'll both have the calm mind to stay out of each other's bodywork. Here we go, Lorenzo sizing up the move, thinks better of it down into Barcroft before we go through Sunny in and Sunny out on the run down towards the complex. Now he is going to be annoyed at his lack of a good start there. John B is going to be able to move doesn't quite come in there for Lorenzo. Has a think about it on the way into the complex, thinks better of it. These cars stuck together like glue as we come down towards the hairpin. If we throw it at the inside, there he goes. Doesn't quite make contact, keeps it clean there. Wow, that was very close.
Wow, yeah, great
noises
move
from my mouth, but doesn't quite provide any sort of carnage for me to commentate on. Just keeping it nice and clean down towards turn 1, thinking about the move, getting the line right. Aiden Larson goes purple on that lap. Yeah. He is a man on a mission to get back into the top 10.
There's 2 men on a mission here, you know, and that was a great defensive move we saw from Adam Bent, you know, to hold off Lorenzo. Noticeably, we also have a battle still for first place, even without the 2 championship leaders in it. Kess is going side by side with Alex Hughes here. Oh, this is going to be looking really nice. Alex trying to pull back ahead, going into the next straightaway. Big turn right here coming up. A little bit of a skid outside there for Kessis, but manages to get back on track, trying to get that 4th place. He can really sniff that extra spot that could end up going here with the overall standings. He's fallen a little bit behind here, but he's got an opportunity to catch back up here. He's got Ben Choi behind him as well, who's been absolutely phenomenal in his improvements as well. This is quite a race going near the next section here into the hairpin. I don't think there's going to be much of a move, but Aiden Larson is at the back half of Josh Hughes. We saw John B go purple for a moment, but then Archie O'Leary took over purple as well. There's still a battle going on for first place in all of this. Lorenzo Gualtieri still trying to get around Adam Bent, who has been holding him off phenomenally through these first few laps. This has been absolutely incredible stuff around this little chicane here, going into the first big turn here of this track there. That was around Hawthorne into the aptly named chicane, into the straightaway. This is absolutely action-packed here. Lorenzo trying to make a move. Great hold off for now by Adam Bent. Is he going to take over on the inside? Contact there, and a little bit of a skid. Lorenzo's off track, and he recovers nicely, but Adam Bent gets that place back. Dachkoy is caught up as well to Lorenzo, and Aiden Larson's in this carnage as well with Josh Hughes. This is incredible stuff. Oh my goodness gracious. The skid on the outside there. Aiden Larson back into the top 10. He is now fighting with Josh Hughes for 9th place. He wants Lorenzo, and he wants even more places. Aiden Larson and Lorenzo Gualtieri, they were down but not out, going around the tower bend into the sunny in, sunny out. I can't even commentate correctly. This is incredible. Aiden's still at the back half of Josh Hughes, trying to get around him. This is going to be quite the dogfight going around this hairpin. No contact so far. Trying to make a move on the inside. Thought about it briefly, but he's just going to stay behind Josh Hughes as he go into the start-finish straight. Oh my goodness gracious, what a start!
We are not even halfway through the first of 2 races, and we've already had multiple things to talk about. There's a very, very wide Hughes there, which just lets Aiden straight through there. Way too late on the brakes for the red Ginetta. Just let Aiden come past. Little slide there. That car is obviously not happy with something about it, but that now means our championship contenders are nose to tail. It is over 8th place, but they are nose to tail again. Reminder, they are 3 points separated when it's 20 points for a race win. So although the changeover positions here wouldn't net them any difference, actually no, they're now 4 points different because of qualifying. There's a 4-point gap, sorry, but it's still important that they're this close together on circuit, because this is as much a mental battle as it is a real one. Although Aiden's a very calm and collected, chilled out racer, he still wants to win, of course, so he's still going to see Lorenzo ahead and think, right, how can I get past? But Adam Bent has been the Welsh Minister of Defence ahead of Lorenzo, and even Aiden now behind. There's a move being sized up, thinks better of it, back in the line for Lorenzo, just keeping his wise head on now for P8. Remember, he's got a lot more ballast than Adam. 75 kilos on Lorenzo's car, nothing on Adam's. You've got to think that is playing an effect now in both of these drivers' minds and in their cars' handling. Coming around the hairpin, 11 minutes and a half to go on the clock. We are having an absolutely thrilling race between Lorenzo and Adam, with Aiden ready to pick up the pieces when it all falls apart. Let's hope it doesn't. We see them coming towards turn 1. Still clean, still Aiden behind Lorenzo, who's behind Adam. Ben Choi just running away, enjoying the carnage behind him to seal a top 6. Kessler's holding P5 again with a reasonable gap behind him, but he's now thinking about getting past Alex Hughes. There they are. These two cars are split by less than 0.2 of a second now. This is properly close racing from Kessler's and Alex. Both of them running ballast. Alex got less than Kessler's, but we know Kessler's is quick when they want to be. Will they make the move through the gym clock as he's down into Barcroft? He's having a look, having a think about it into Sunny Im. Does he go make the move? No, stays in line, stays behind, just keeping the car on the road, playing it safe. Knows they've got time. There's a lot of smoke and a spin there for someone. Can't quite say who that is. That's Adam having a spin. The Welsh defence has crumbled under the pressure. Lorenzo has now gotten through, as has Aiden, which basically means that was all completely null for both cars. And just let Aiden catch up to the back of Lorenzo. Now they're both directly in competition for P7 while trying to think about closing the gap to Ben Choi for 6th place. This is going to be an interesting to see if they work together or not, as we are just, there it is, there's the halfway mark in this race. John B still leading from Archie O'Leary, Thomas Hughes, Alex Hughes, Kessers, Ben Choi, and then these two fighting at the back of the top 6 for 7th and 8th place.
Yeah, and as well, John B managing to hold on to the fastest lap. He's run a 2:25.81. Aiden Larson with a 22.778 as well. We talked about that military precision with the lap consistency, and Aiden managing to catch up to Lorenzo. Aiden can keep it clean, and if Lorenzo is, less consistent lap to lap times, it could end up driving the margin back going around these next couple of turns. Aiden and Lorenzo, we might be looking at another battle. Hopefully not a nothing burger here, as Aiden's just, he's losing. He's getting lost a little bit around here, trying to find the right words for it. As the next couple of straightaways, I guarantee you he's going to try and find that time to get the time back, really. And yeah, looking here, goodness, it's stumbling over myself like these standings have been stumbling over themselves. Good grief. Going into the next turn here, they're getting closer to the hairpin into the start-finish straight. Not sure if there's going to be any sort of a move, but it looks like Aiden's pulled off a little bit. And it looks like we've got looks like that was a PB for Thomas Hughes there. I thought that was a fastest lap for a second. Oh, speaking of fastest lap, Lorenzo Gualtieri with a 22.517. How about that?
And now right on the back of Ben Choi for Lorenzo. The last lap time for Ben was a 125.3. The last lap for Lorenzo was a 122.5, and there we go. Already got past before I could finish my fact. That is just the pace of these front runners. They have caught up to Ben Choi and passed him like he was standing still. Sorry, Ben, there, but these guys were always going to get past you. They're now into the 122s. Both Lorenzo and Aiden are into that magical 22. Not quite gone into the 121s yet. I doubt we'll see that since we didn't get it in qualifying. Ben Choi now thinking, right, do I fight this? Do I delay Lorenzo? Sorry, do I delay Aiden and let Lorenzo run, or do I just let Aiden pass? Play it safe, don't cause any carnage. You already knew they were going to get past you. It's inevitable. It's just, when is it going to happen? There he goes. Runs deep. Aiden is through. Lovely, jubbly. Let's keep going towards the front. Oh, no, Ben Choi's having a little think about it, isn't he? He's not giving up just yet. There we go, up the inside for Ben Choi. Keeps it clean, luckily. Doesn't take out one of our championship contenders into the complex. He's having a think. Gosh, there's some late braking here from Ben Choi, which is a one-way ticket to Danger Town. But luckily, Aiden Larson is not heading that way. He is heading the way of the top 5 with Lorenzo as well there. Both cars now going to try and catch up to Kessers. Kessers' last lap was a 23.5. Lorenzo's a 22.6. So they're gaining a little bit under a second a lap, both cars there. Let's see if they can keep that rate of gaining up all the way through the lap now, as we see them coming.
If I may, that was also his fastest lap time through this race as well. So we can see that Lorenzo and Aiden, they're getting used to these laps as well. They're managing to find those, little details to allow them to make up every last second. Sure, it's still, it's still John B in front with that fastest lap, as we see a little bit of an incident there between Kessis and Alex Hughes going into these next couple of bit. A little bit higher stakes battle between there, as Lorenzo, of course, and Aiden are catching up to that battle as well. We could see ourselves a little four-way fracas here on Croft as they're coming around the next couple of turns. Lorenzo, he is just edging closer to Alex Hughes, and these are the guys with two of the fastest lap times of these races. So for a fact they're going to be catching up despite the massive difference in ballasts. Because Alex is 15. Lorenzo has 5 times that amount of ballast at 75 kg going around this hairpin. I don't know if there's going to be a move on the outside. Looks like they're going to be staying nose to tail. And I guarantee you Aiden's going to be taking advantage of this little battle and making up more time going into the first section of the next lap here. Lorenzo thinking about it. Is he going to make a move? He's still a little bit behind Alex. Going into these chicanes, I'm not sure what he's thinking. He's just got to find a way around. Try to go inside, but he's getting denied by Alex Hughes. Guarantee you next couple of tries. Whoa, what happened there? Ooh, it looks like Lorenzo crashed.
He has hit
he's gone.
Tyre barrier. What? The front left of his car smashed the tyre barrier, just ejected the Ginetta off into the dirt. That now means that Aiden is leading on the road. Luckily, Lorenzo managed to recover pretty quickly, only lost one place. But wow, that is an uncharacteristic mistake from Lorenzo, just pushing so hard, clipped the tyre barrier. Luckily, there's no damage from that. Hopefully, well, definitely doesn't look like there's any damage from it. In real life, that would have spat his car off with a missing front end, but he's managed to carry on going by the nature of this being a simulation rather than real life, which does allow Aiden through, who's now chasing down Alex Hughes. Alex thought he had a rest there when he saw Lorenzo go off. Thought, great, he's gone, I can focus now. And all of a sudden, Aiden's on the back of him. He's going, oh, I've got to do it all again. I'm going to keep my defence up to its absolute maximum. Coming into the hairpin, both drivers go now. We've only got 4.5 minutes left of this race. John B has not quite checked out, but the front two have definitely checked out there. Archie O'Leary and John B basically just running away with it at the front now, as we see Aiden getting closer and closer to Alex. The gap now under 0.6 of a second, running it very wide on the way into turn one, but keeping it on the track all the way. These guys are so professional in the way they can conduct themselves, especially around the tighter corners and at the faster circuits like Croft. Lorenzo is still behind, but is gaining as best you can do when you had a monumental shunt in your first sector that cost you 3 seconds. There it is, the move for Aiden Larson, going round the outside of Alex Hughes, thinks better of it, cuts back to the inside, gets the better run. Ooh, twitch from the Ginetta. Ooh, that was a skid and a half there. He's still right on the back of Alex, but his run has been compromised by his waggly rear end there, keeping it right back behind the draft, very much in effect, coming through back Barcroft down into Sunny Im. Doesn't make the move, thinks better of it, gets on the inside though, and that runs very deep on the brakes for Alex Hughes, which gives Aiden a look. There's a little bit of door banging, keeps it both foot facing the right way. There was contact there, more contact again between these two. Gosh, these championship.
And it's going to be a three-way. Lorenzo's coming in. That's going to be.
Lorenzo has arrived on the scene.
Oh my God! And now they're going into the hairpin. This can only get more chaotic. Going into the start-finish straight. At the side of Alex, oh my God, this is a 3-car Congo going into the start-finish straight. Aiden and Lorenzo are going neck and neck. They're both trying to take over that place from Alex Hughes going into the next turn. Oh my goodness gracious, this is going to be just when you thought it couldn't get even more exciting. Going around, Lorenzo trying to make a move. He's gotten past Aiden Larson. He's back in 6th place, making up for that crash earlier. Still just seconds, fractions of seconds are splitting these racers. There's still nose to tail on a little combo right there. And Lorenzo, he has got to be absolutely just stiff right now, thinking about, okay, I've got a car behind me, I've got a car ahead of me. I need to either just let Aiden go in front of me, which that's not an option, or just get in front of Alex, find the time, make a move, bide your last moments here. If there's any time, it could be right now as well. Little difference in braking here. I don't think, no, there was a contact right there, but Lorenzo tried to go inside, but he got denied again by Alex. Going into the next sector here. This is absolutely just, oh my God, I couldn't imagine being inside one of these cars. It's a little bit of an accordion type scrunch of this group going into the next hairpin. You've got to think, if there's a time for a move, it's now. I think there's a little bit of rubbing right there. I'd be surprised if there wasn't contact going into the start-finish straight. Next lap, goodness gracious, what have we got cooking up here? Lorenzo, I think he tried to make a move on the outside, but he just thought better of it. Now he's, oh my God, cornered. Oh my goodness. Trying to go inside. I think that, yeah, there was contact, brief contact between Alex and Lorenzo going into the next part of the track. And Alex going inside here. I don't know if there's going to be a bit of an overtake here. Oh my goodness gracious. This is just, oh wow. And oh, look at that. We got a move from Lorenzo. And oh gosh, the skid. Ben Choi managing to get around the carnage, but I can only imagine that there is no way that could have been intentional. Oh, the wheels must have just come off right there and just sent it barreling into Lorenzo. Aiden Larson taking advantage of the situation. He's now in 5th place. Oh my goodness gracious. As now we got a battle between John and Archie. I mean, yeah, I'm going to take a breath, Dan.
That was a massive moment in the championship there, as we saw one of the Hughes get tangled up with Lorenzo, but we're watching a fight for the race lead, which is refreshingly not between Aiden and Lorenzo. It is John B versus Archie O'Leary, the Liverpudlian car behind the car of John B. There is a ballast difference of 27 kilos to keep in mind here. John B running absolutely nothing. Archie with the full 27 of his previous success. One of our front runners in the student class has had a couple high scoring positions, is now looking for his first race win of the season. For Archie, the leader has 2 laps to go. The problem is that the leaders and second place are so close that we don't really know who he's going to be at the end of the lap there, as this gap has come down. He's been hovering around this sort of time, but it's now down to under a second between these 2 cars. They're both putting in pretty consistent lap times as well, so it's very fine margin splitting the leader from second place. We'd love to see a move thrown at some point, but only if they can keep it safe. We want to maintain proper racing conduct here. A little twitch from the turquoise sky blue car there of Archie O'Leary, but manages to keep it facing the right way, obviously compromising his run now down into the start of the complex. Just got to weave his way through these corners, gain as much time as he can later on the brakes, earlier on the power, keep the nose in. There we go, right up the backside of John B. Has him look around the outside, turns it into a cutback on the inside, but then just getting back into line, staying in the slipstream. Not any movement between the 2 of them. They're staying nice and close together, but respectfully not having any accidents. There is lapped cars ahead, so that is Sam Knight and Tim Mason up ahead having a little battle of their own, but there shouldn't be a problem. We've only got 1 lap to go. That's right, leader is on the final lap. There is just 2.1 miles, 3.4 kilometers, but I'm going down of Croft. Lots of curb cutting there. Hopefully no tyre barrier contact for anybody else today after we saw Lorenzo have that spin earlier on. Now he's up to 6th place with the fastest lap of the race. He got past Alex Hughes and is going to be chasing down Aiden at a rate of knots. I don't think he'll catch him though, with the little amount of racetrack he's got left to race on. Here we go. Yep. We're coming into the end of the lap now. I'm going to hand back over to Ozzy because I run out of breath as well.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, it's a common occurrence here. They're coming in towards the next part of the lap here, trying to figure it out on this track here. Going into sunny in, sunny out, looking for a possible overtake. Archie is making up time. It looks like he's gone down past 0.4 of a second, now back above it. This is going to be down to the wire. It is now or never. Archie O'Leary, he is still making up time. John B holding him off, going into the next couple of turns. This is going to be for the championship here, around the hairpin. Is he gonna make a move? Trying, but he's gonna get held off, and John B is going to win the first race here at Croft. Archie O'Leary taking 2nd. What a race here. Thomas Hughes and Kessis fighting it out for 3rd. It's going to be Thomas Hughes taking it, Kessis in 4th. Aiden Larson finishing in 5th place with a fastest lap. Lorenzo Gualtieri coming in 6th place. Alex Hughes is next behind them as well, going across the start-finish straight. Then we've got Adam Bent in 8th place. He is holding off Josh Hughes as they finish in 8th and 9th respectively. Rounding out the top 10, it looks like it'll be Dachkoy taking it. Vian Tran, Caleb Tate, or no, it looks like, might be a little bit of a shift here, but yeah, Caleb Tate we're looking at, who's currently in 11th place, just sniffing the outside of the top 10 here. He has yet to finish there, but no, it's this actually would be his personal best here, I believe. He's been kind of hovering around the very back of the pack here, as he's going to be coming across the line. Vian Tran will be behind him, so 11th place for Caleb Tate. Vian Tran coming in 12th. That just leaves 3 cars. Sam Knight, Tim Mason, and Ben Choi. Sam Knight coming across the line with a 1:28.605. You know, not a good lap, but it's, you know, good to finish off. Tim Mason in that striking blue livery gets himself 14th, and then it'll be Ben Choi who will take 15th place. He just veers off the track there. Not sure what happened there, but oh no, it looks like he just went down a turn. Not really sure. I mean, Ben Choi, I think he had a couple of crashes here, but he you know, he was in 6th place for some time as well, and he managed to get around that little action that happened between I think it was Alex and Lorenzo that really took them out of the race. But goodness gracious, that is incredible stuff here to you know, to start off in this Croft first race. still have action here on Ben Choi. We just need you to finish the race, man. You know, it's been tough for you, but we gotta. I'm not saying wrap it up, but like, you know, you're the last guy.
There's only so long we can commentate on one car
There's
driving
only
around for
so
last
long,
place.
exactly.
But yeah, overall, an incredibly interesting race there, especially for the championship. We did not expect a win from John B. Neither of us predicted that and would have predicted it in a million runnings. But there it is, the win for John B. ahead of Archie O'Leary. Finally, Ben Choi comes across the line to finish the race off properly. All cars have now finished, and that is the end of race 1 of the day for round 5 of the BUSR. There is your final standings. John B. ahead of Archie O'Leary and Thomas Hughes wrapping up the podium. What a race. Neither of our championship contenders even near the podium. A best of, well, Aiden was in 5th, Lorenzo in 6th. Aiden gets the crucial point for fastest lap, which means our championship battle is closing up once again. But overall, carnage, which is about what we're expecting from this lot now. I mean, it shouldn't really be surprised.
Yeah, no, that's that I'm not sure why we didn't factor that into because I had factored in quite a bit of carnage into a couple of my race predictions. I think it was the one race where I predicted Jordan Pinnock would win, where it was like, I don't know, did he win that one? I'm stuck on it. I think. But oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, no, John B, absolutely incredible stuff. I believe that is his first race win. Archie O'Leary getting his first second place finish as well. And then Thomas Hughes, let's see, I think that is his second third place finish. And I think that's his third podium, it's either third or fourth podium for Thomas Hughes. Good stuff as well. Cassis getting some well-needed points, and it looks like Aiden Larson is going to, for the time being, overtake Lorenzo in the overall standings, but we are not done. We still have a whole other 20-minute race. Dachkoy will be the pole sitter. Josh Hughes, Adam Bent, Alex Hughes, then Lorenzo, Aiden, Kessis, Thomas Hughes, Archie O'Leary, and John B will be the starting 10 for that.
Yep, we've got that all coming up in about 3 or 4 minutes time. Please don't go anywhere. But just before we get there, we're going to have a video from our series sponsor, Gridfinder.
Yes.
There we go, Gridfinder, a wonderful platform that you can use to join any sort of racing, but you should definitely come and join ours. And if you'd like to join ours, we are free for entries if you want to come and join in, whether that's F1 on Saturdays, AC on Mondays, or iRacing throughout the week. We'd love to have you here, whether you're not even a driver. Maybe you enjoy making social media content, broadcast operating. Maybe you want to be a commentator and you can come and do some talking. We'd love to have you at the BUSR. Come and find us on Discord or on Gridfinder, and I'm sure there'll be a place for us. We're all lovely people. We might talk negatively about each other's driving ability, but we're all lovely people, really, and we've still got a whole other race to go, so maybe go and sign up after the second race, because you're not going to want to miss it, as it's a reverse grid race, which is going to be highly interesting with the nature of turn 1. We already saw pole and second place go off at the start of race 1, so I should imagine that might happen again in race 2.
Yeah, and by that logic, that would make Adam Bent the winner of that race. I mean, Adam, if you're watching this, listen, man, I'm not trying to jinx you. I'm just trying to follow the logic. You know, it's not personal. It's just business. But yes, as my comrade Den here has said, yeah, we've got a very welcoming environment. You don't even have to be British to join the BUSR, as you know, I'm living proof of that. So yeah, come and join us. We're a bunch of blokes. We might have cookies for you. Who knows?
I'm sure we can pretend like we have cookies for you if it gets you into the league. Yeah, we've got another race coming up. It will be on very shortly. It's going to be carnage. We've got Thomas Hughes back in 10th place. We've got Lorenzo and Aiden swapping places for 5th and 6th place. And we have got a whole bunch of cars near the front of the grid who aren't normally at the front of the grid, which is always fun to watch. I think it's going to be an interesting one. We've already seen this track is it aids itself well to good racing, which is why it's such a fan favourite in Britain, especially in the British Touring Car Championship. It's very, very fast. It's very, very flowing. And there's a lot of curves that you have to attack with a very much a do or die kind of attitude, which really is going to emphasise which of our drivers actually have proper skill under pressure and which of them just finished 10th and lucked into pole position. Prediction-wise, I think it's going to be between Aiden and Lorenzo to which one of them gets the front fastest. We haven't got enough time for anything else to talk about because we're ready to go racing.
10 seconds down to the start of the race. Race 2 here at Croft. We've got the lights up and away we go. Starting off, great start so far here for, I believe that's, oh, looks like Josh Hughes at the front, Dachkoy and Adam Bent looking to take over that front position. We've talked great stuff about Adam getting that great start, and we've got a big crash here at turn 1. Oh my goodness gracious, that turn 1, very chaotic indeed. Alex Hughes getting away with it the least scathed. Aiden Larson and Adam Bent rounding out the top 3. It's a trio of A's here. Lorenzo Gualtieri in 4th, Thomas Hughes in 5th place. A purple section for Alex Hughes so far as we are going around to the next big straightaway. Aiden Larson and Lorenzo Gualtieri now 2nd and 3rd place as Adam Bent yielded that 3rd to Lorenzo. Going into the next sector as well, we've got reports of contact here between Archie and Sam Knight as well. Alex Hughes is our main man, it looks like, for the time being. John B is still in 10th place as well. Archie taking over in front of Sam Knight, getting into 7th place behind Kessis, who is battling it out with Thomas Hughes as well. Aiden Larson looking for that 1st place against Alex Hughes. You know he wants it. And Lorenzo behind him. Oh my god, we're going to have ourselves a continuation of the last race, trying to go on the inside, and he's not going to get there, but it looks like we've got ourselves a trio of fighters. Alex Hughes taking it away, of course, with the fastest lap, and yes, going into the turn 1 of next lap. Aiden still behind, and then Lorenzo. It looks like this pack is just going to pull away from the rest, even though we've got a combined ballast weight of 156 kilos from these 3 cars going into the next section of the race. This is a great start. Not nearly as, well, actually, yeah, it was quite chaotic at turn 1, but yeah, no, getting in the advantage of the chaos. And it looks like Alex Hughes getting behind Aiden and Lorenzo. Just let them fight it out, man. Just let them fight it out. Lorenzo behind Aiden now for the lead. This is going to be deciding our overall standings. Lorenzo is now behind Aiden in this race and overall after Aiden got the leg up in the first race. Going into the next couple of corners here, leading the pack into the S's, I believe that is. Going around next, we have the Complex and the Hairpin. Staying in front is Aiden Larson, Lorenzo Gualtieri, less than half a second. Not sure if he's going to make a move on this Hairpin. No, he's going to hold his line and go into the next lap. This is going to be quite the race.
Yeah, just to warn Alex Hughes there, they made a mistake coming out of the chicane, which is turn sort of 3 or 4, and they just ran very wide on the grass, lost all momentum, had to come off the throttle to stay facing the roadway, hence why they dropped down behind our 2 leaders now. Look, Aiden and Lorenzo, we knew they'd get near the front. We didn't think it'd be quite that quickly. They had a helping hand there from the crash between John B and other parties behind, so they didn't really have to do much work. They had to keep their noses clean and stay in front. Here we go. They're still nose to tail. The championship leaders, our series protagonists, if you will, still fighting out. We're on round 5. We've still got 3 rounds to go. We've had 5 rounds already. This is our 10th race of the season, and they are still nose to tail in terms of on track and in terms of championship points. The gap is well under 5 points between them, and it is well under 0.5 seconds between them. Lorenzo not yet managed to find a way through. Their lap times are so similar at all times of day, really, that it's going to be a matter of who blinks first, who makes the move first, who makes the unforced error or the forced error first. Now we come down towards the complex. We've nearly had a quarter of the race done already. Very wide for Aiden there, gets the inside line for the hairpin, breaks late, forces Lorenzo wide. Lorenzo gets the cut back. They're side by side going down the main straight. They're nose to tail in the slipstream is Lorenzo. Can't quite get enough of an overspeed to make the move. That lap was fractionally faster for Aiden. The gap is so tiny between these two in terms of pace. Like I said, not half a lap ago, but through the chicanes they go. There's the Hawthorns first, and then through the chicane, eating curves, hoping to not hit the tyre barriers that we saw Lorenzo do on the last race. This is important for the championship. As we've been saying all day, these guys are front runners in all ways of the word right now. They are absolutely pulling away from the cars behind as well. Their lap times are a second quicker than Alex Hughes and Adam Bent behind. So, very wide from Alex Hughes in the background there, but we're focusing on Lorenzo now, who's thinking about, can he make a move? Got the slipstream through Barcroft down towards Sunny in. It'd be a brave place to make a move, thinks better of it. Heading towards Sunny out now. He's getting even closer and closer and closer at every moment. But can't seem to get past the gap, hovering about the 0.3 second mark when they're running consistently. When they're on the brakes, obviously it gets a bit lower. Down towards the complex. Lorenzo has a look, just lets him know he's there. Aiden Nat is very aware of the car behind. The pressure will be mounting on him. He's not one to crack under pressure, but it's hard to when there's so much of it from behind. Aiden running another defensive line, pushing Lorenzo wide. Lorenzo gets the cutback as he did one lap ago. Little bit of a slide there, compromises his rub back in the slipstream at the end of this lap.
Yeah, and absolutely, you know, this is not a first time, of course. Aiden and Lorenzo finishing 1-2 in the very first race of the season as well. So, yeah, and the difference between them being so infinitesimal. Adam Bent having a look side by side between Kessis, Alex Hughes in front of him as well. A little bit of a skid, but he manages to hold off for now. But then he gets overtaken back again by Archie O'Leary. Great save, and it looks like we might have seen some contact on that chicane right there. Still chaos at the back half of the pack. Even with all this talk between Aiden and Lorenzo, Adam Bent lost another place there. Goodness gracious, he's still fighting it out, and he is fighting off Kessis. Goodness gracious, they're going side by side. They are both behind the car of Thomas Hughes in that gear shift livery. They're going into the next bend. This is a brave spot to make a move, as you said before. Adam Bent still holding it off. He held off Lorenzo for so long. You know, what else could he do, really? But defend, and hope that he can still bend but not break here as he goes onto the grass here, still staying in front of Kessis and behind Thomas Hughes, going into the next section here, going into the hairpin right now. You gotta imagine he's gonna try a little move here, goes wide. Aiden Larson improving on his fast lap as Adam trying to just muscle up in front of Kessis. He's not, or no, in front of Thomas Hughes. He's not going to get there. Goodness gracious. And the storylines just continue. You've got Aiden and Lorenzo at the front, and then just all of this behind as Adam's still behind Thomas as he makes a little bit of a mistake. He goes wide on the track going into the first of the two chicanes. This is going to be this has to be an opportunity now for Adam to take back over against Thomas as they're going into the Tower Bend here, I believe. Yes, trying to go inside. He can't get it. Oh, you'd think he'd go back inside on that second part of it going into the S's, but no, this is just, I mean, Adam's just holding his all right now. You know, he's got no ballast. He's got, of course, 57 kg less than Thomas. Going into the next section here. Big turn going right in. He's just going to stay on the line and hold it just in case Kessis tries anything here. Into the latter half here. We've still got action as well. Oh, he's trying to make a move on the inside here. Is he going to get it? This looks close. They're going to go neck and neck to the line, but no, Thomas holds him off. Oh, no, that was Aiden Lorenzo.
For the lead, that is a fight for the lead. We're watching now.
Oh, my God.
Suddenly, Lorenzo's at the inside into turn one, thinks better of it. Sorry to cut in there, Ozzy, but I had to comment there. What a wonderful bit of racing we're watching now between our two leaders. The gap was basically nothing between them. They were side by side. They could have reached out and snapped each other's wing mirror if they wanted to, and that was an option, and this wasn't a simulator. They're now coming down towards Tower Bend. There's a move for Aiden to the inside. Lorenzo takes the chance around the outside. They're side by side into Tower Bend, all the way around this very tight rate, well, very wide, long, sweeping right at the cutback for Lorenzo down towards Jim Clark. They're side by side through the Jim Clark corner, the left, then through the right. Lorenzo, he's got to have the inside line very wide range to avoid contact Was he pushed wide? Did he just let it run wide for safety? We'll have to find out now. We're going down towards Barkov. There was a change for the lead. That is placed, signed, sealed and delivered for Lorenzo. He licked the stamp and sent it through to P1. We now have a change of lead, and that means there will be a change of championship lead, I'd imagine, come the end of the day, with Lorenzo's bonus points from finishing up at the front. He also has, second fastest lap. Aiden technically has the fastest lap of the race for now. At that point, we'll still go to the Australian, but Lorenzo is still running from the front now. He's going to try and build that gap as fast as he can. I mean, the gap behind Adam is in third, sorry.
Yeah, Adam, I was going to say, Adam's just made it back into third. He's battling it out with Thomas Hughes. They've gotten ahead of Kessis and John B. Adam trying to hold it off. This would be his first podium if he can hold it off here, as Thomas is sandwiched between him and Kessis, and John B holding off Alex Hughes at the back half of the pack as well. Going into this first section here, this is a 5-car race for third place pretty much, as Alex is trying to make a move on the rating race winner in John B, but he's going to be held off for now. Thomas Hughes and Kessis trying to do their best, little impression of the Alex, Lorenzo, Aiden trifecta we had earlier, as Adam's just pulling out away. No, Thomas is going to take back over here, and goodness gracious, I think that's a slower car in front of them. What is that? Yeah, that's Caleb Tate in front of them as well. So, oh my goodness gracious, yeah, we got ourselves a bit of a battle for third. Thomas and Adam have been going at it as well. Aiden's still sniffing on the back of Lorenzo here, and it's just, yeah, it's everywhere you look, there is something going on here, as Adam's still trying to hold off Thomas as well, going into the next couple of turns here, leading into the hairpin. I imagine now, as Lorenzo has taken over the fastest lap, he's now got over a second of lead over Aiden Larson. Must have been a couple of mistakes that happened there, as Archie O'Leary as well has been holding up in the back half of the pack. I think he's pretty much got 8th place so far, barring a catastrophe. Adam Bent and Kessis still going at it, trying to get that third place. That would be legendary stuff, as we've got a car that's gone off track. That's John B, the race winner of last time. Now it's Adam still in 4th place coming into that chicane. Oh my goodness, we still got plenty of action here. We got 8 minutes left in this race as they go into the big tower bend here.
Yep, this is a thrilling battle for the back end of the podium, which is just what we want to see, as the battle for the lead seems to be cooling down a bit. Lorenzo pulling out a monster gap, whereas none of these drivers from Thomas, Adam, Kessers, Alex and John B can seem to really find the magical lap time they need to pull away. They're just kind of having to sit there and wait for the other ones to make a mistake or just go for the move themselves. Adam chasing down his first podium of the season behind Thomas. It's going to be a tough one for him to get. I don't deny that he can do it, but the thing is, he has to do it in the next 7.5 minutes plus 1 lap at the end of the race. So he's got time, but he's also in that unfortunate situation we often talk about in racing of trying to overtake the car ahead with a car behind, trying to do the same to you. Very late on the brakes for Kessels there. Leaves them vulnerable to Alex Hughes, get cut back, but there's enough of a gap and they're safe. Adam in the tail, so on the tail of Thomas Hughes in the slipstream now, gaining and gaining and gaining all the way down this monster first straight.
Oh, a new PB
for Adam Bess. He's on the flyer right now. He is one of the fastest drivers on circuit, up the inside of the very late braking Thomas Hughes, who is running it round the outside and holding it and holding it and holding it. Got this is Adam's move to take. There he goes, back into line formation for the chicane. But Kessels is trying to make a way past, but can't seem to make it.
Yeah, no, they went side by side. Alex has just taken over Kessels as well for 5th place. So Adam is holding off. It's going to be Thomas and Alex who've made contact with each other. Yeah, the Hughes twins going at it with one another now, as Adam can just take advantage of that situation. It's been resolved for now, but Adam is now somewhat comfortably into 3rd place. He's just got to keep it clean the rest of the race and just hope and pray that neither Thomas nor Alex can catch up, as Thomas goes onto the grass here. He's now lost 5th place to Kessis, and now he is in competition for 6th with John B. This is, oh my goodness gracious, 5-way action still for 5th. So not just for 5th, 3rd through 7th is being decided right here, as Adam Bent taking that big lead into the back half of the podium here. I'm not sure if there's going to be a move from Kessis. It looks like they're just going to hold the line for now. A little bit of, more of a separation between these cars is Adam now with almost a second of a gap in front of Alex Hughes, Kessis, Thomas Hughes, and John B for third place. This is incredible stuff, and he's just improving more and more by the second. Absolutely great stuff here from Adam as they go into the next section of this race. They're about to finish their first section here. Adam is a little bit slower than Alex for the time being. Alex has, he's got he's got more ballasts as well, but it looks like he's trying to take advantage as well, trying to get back into third place. This is incredible stuff from Adam, Alex, Kessis, Tom, and John. Great quintet here. You can't look anywhere else but here at this point in time, despite, as I'm saying that, Aiden Larson getting a purple second section in his quest to retake first place. Alex still sandwiched between Adam and Kessis. He has managed to come back. Aiden now with a new fastest lap. He's gone 22.266. Oh my gosh. And now we've got a car off track. It looks like that.
Adam has gone off. Adam and Alex have had a crash down at the end of the complex. There's both of those cars out of podium contention. That is heart-wrenchingly gutting for the Welshman, especially en route for his debut podium of the series. His luck is just non-existent right now. Kessis takes over that position with a pretty big gap to Thomas Hughes. Unfortunately, we don't know what happened there, but definitely not an optimal racing strategy from the cars involved. They're really gutting to see. We were so thoroughly enjoying that pack of fives. Incredible fighting, and then all of a sudden it all gets unfurled. Got a little bit too close for comfort going into the complex, and is now completely in tatters. John B having a look up the inside of Thomas Hughes, though. There's still little pairs of action going on, but they're not quite as close. Our race one winner, which is, it was a great result for him. He's got no ballast as well, so he is definitely enjoying this Yorkshire circuit. Now he's going to think about getting past one of the Hugheses to take fourth place, which would still be a stunning result despite race one's win. It's going to be a lot of points, but the gap at the front is still hovering around the second, but the gap back to third is growing and growing by the second. Each passing moment of this race, the gap to Kessis seems to be getting bigger for Aiden and Lorenzo, which just shows the sheer pace those two drivers are on. But right now we're watching John B, who's under a second away from Thomas Hughes.
Yeah, and Kessis, this is going to help them out as well in their quest to take some more points in the leaderboard. Before qualifying, of course, they were in fourth place with 90, so getting ahead of Thomas Hughes here is really big because there was an 8-point difference. Not to mention Kessis was ahead of Aiden and Lorenzo as well in the first race too. I reckon. Yeah, I'm just checking my results here. Yes, they were actually just in front of Aiden and Lorenzo too. So yeah, Kessis maintaining third place would be a really, really significant event here for the championship aspirations. In the open class, there's still 29 points shy of Lorenzo, but it is still, you got to take anything you can get at this point.
Absolutely, all points are useful points come the end of the season, and that is exactly what's going through John B's mind right now. The gap to Kessis is still too big to be thinking about a move, but the gap to Thomas Hughes behind is very much on the table. We've got 2 minutes left. Suddenly, 18 minutes of my life have disappeared into the chaos and carnage of race 2 of the day, and I'm quite glad they've gone that way because it has been a thrilling ride so far. We've seen battles all up and down the grid, and despite it being a reasonably predictable winner so far, at least it's going to be one of Aiden and Lorenzo. Probably. I should have said that. Yeah. It's interesting, at least so far. Very close to the tyre barriers for Thomas Hughes through the complex, but keeps it pointing in the right direction. Very late on the brakes for Archie O'Leary, just looking for any chance to move. There's a little quarter spin there, which just compromises the run massively for Thomas Hughes. Archie O'Leary is going to come roaring past all 400 of his GT4 horsepower, taking him up to 5th place, putting Thomas down there side by side through turn 1. But the place is Archie's to lose. Here we go, back in formation, all the way through Clervo and into Hawthorns. Lovely move for Archie O'Leary. It takes 5th place. Good, strong result for that car, especially as it was up and down all race. A word on Adam Bent, who is dropping more places now, is down in 10th place. Not a great race for him. So gutting to watch, but Kessis has put in this phenomenal performance to get another podium out of this.
Yep, and with Thomas Hughes dropping down another position, that is even big. That's even bigger for Kessis as well. Great way to just bide time in that pack of 5 that we saw between 3rd and 7th place, and get out of it unscathed. Sometimes all you need is a little bit of luck as well, as we've seen a little bit of a move I thought I saw there from Thomas Hughes, as we've got about 30 seconds left. Lorenzo Gualtieri just improved on a fastest lap here. Let me just take a look and see what we've got here on the timetable. It looks like we've got ourselves a 22.261 right here. That is 0.6 up on Aiden Larson, and the gap is just, at this point, it's you can't really salvage that unless there's a big crash. Only 0.005 of a second separating their fastest laps as well, as we are ticking away into overtime. We've still got the +1 lap as well from our leader Lorenzo Gualtieri. New PB as well for Alex Hughes, as we're looking now at Thomas Hughes, who's trying to get that 5th place back from Archie O'Leary. But given that it's now in overtime, you've got to think, I'm not sure if I can salvage this, really.
Yeah, he's going to struggle. I think a lot of places are set, but Adam Bent is definitely not set on 10th place. He likes the ring of 9th place. It sounds good in his ear, and the points would look good on his season record. So he's looking, right, how can I get past Josh Hughes? I've been stuck behind this car for ages now. I need to make a move. Need to get past. Need to get that points for 9th place down towards Tower Bend, keeping it a nice tight line. Can you get on the inside? No, of course not. Way too far back. So there's a little twitch from Josh Hughes' car up ahead, which is going to compromise his run all the way down to Sunday Inn, which feels like an age away on this circuit. Leader is on the final lap. These guys have still got 1 and a bit laps to go. Adam just can't seem to find that last little 10th of pace he needs to capitalise on any mistake from the car ahead. There's another one there from Josh Hughes eating a lot of curb, getting up on 2 wheels. I'm sure they'll make a cracking photograph, but not the best of racing lines there from that red car, who is itself thinking about getting past Yen Tran, who suddenly appeared in 8th place. No idea when they've been on a race, but they're in 8th, which is not bad. And they're looking into the complex. Not going to make a move for either Josh or Adam. Both of them now were almost a little bit cautious. Never mind, Adam's just absolutely sending it. I stand corrected. The leader has only got half a lap to go. These guys are starting their final lap. 16 turns is all that stands between Yen Tran and 8th. Way less than 16 turns is all that stands between Lorenzo and the race win.
Yep, and absolutely cracking stuff all race. A little bit of a skid I thought I saw there from Lorenzo. Still has a second over Aiden. They're going into that back half of the section. Aiden just got to be desperate, just trying to get that, just get that back. But in the end, it's really about Lorenzo just getting his lick back after that first race and the 20 points that comes with it in this case. He lost the battle, but in this case, Lorenzo Gualtieri, you, sir, are about to win the war. Crossing the line with Aiden Larson behind him, he is going to retake the championship win as Aiden Larson gets the best lap in the end with a 22.152. Kessis and John B are the next couple of racers. Kessis with a massive gap behind as well, as he is going to finish in 3rd place. What a great race here for Kessis, as a little bit of a weird thing in the leaderboard. Kessis getting the podium as well. Great job there. John B, the race 1 winner, is going to take 4th place. And what just happened there? Thomas,
massive crash for Thomas Hughes there.
Wow.
No idea what's going on. Here's Adam Bent coming across the line in 9th place. That is Sam Knight ahead, who is a whole lap down, so don't worry about them. There's Adam Bent. He got 9th place in the end. Probably, maybe the timing's having a little bit of a fart. Our timing says he's got 8th place, which is pretty good for Adam, actually. So maybe he might have even managed to scrape an 8th place out of that instantly into the tyre wall at the end of the race there. But the main talking points from that has got to be the monumental charge from Lorenzo and Aiden to make it up to 1st, and then just absolutely run from the pack. The gap over the line was well over 20 seconds back to Kessis in 3rd place. But that means that basically, from a championship standpoint, the entire day was completely nullified in terms of the gap. It's going to stay around low single digits. Haven't got the numbers confirmed just yet. But all I know is that it's going to be even more interesting for round 6 at Sepang next week. So please do not go anywhere. Well, we'll go there between now and next week, but do come back next week to watch that thrilling race there as we see the car start to pull into the pit lane at the end of the formation lap.
Oh, yeah.
Lap, not formation lap. Good Lord, if that was a formation lap, we'd be here forever.
Yeah, exactly. No, what a session. Oh my goodness gracious. and I believe we've got some post-race interviews that that we're going to be getting going with as well. It's a great race all in all. It's surprising result at race 1. I bet you John B is ecstatic that he won that one, but more expected result in race 2 with Lorenzo and Aiden in the top 2 and just randomizing everything else. But great podium for Kessis as well, who's just got to be, they've been locked in this entire session.
I think we're going to have our interview starting now with our amazing race 1 winner, John B. If we can get him into the room, I'd love to ask for his, what he thought of race 1. Hello, John B.
Oh, yeah.
So, race 1, let's just start. Congratulations. How did that go for you?
Oh, it was tough. I would say having Archie on my ass all day was definitely not on tonight's list.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine that's not really the expected result, but you managed qualifying. You finished 3rd behind Lorenzo and Aiden. You managed to beat them both out for this race 1 win, and 4th place in race 2. You've really been coming into your all. So great job. How do you think you're gonna do next time around?
I hope not like the previous race. I kind of want to keep this consistent.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, you did start out in 10th place due to the reverse grid. So, I think at this point you got to take what you can get.
Yeah, I agree. I think probably the big thing would be I'm surprised I kept it in throughout quali, and that just translated into no mistakes or very little mistakes during the race.
Yeah, and it paid off with your first ever win here in this series. So yeah, no, cracking stuff, man. I look forward to seeing some more action from you as well. If you can manage to get maybe another win, who knows?
Who knows? But look forward to next week. Maybe I'll see you guys again.
Oh yeah,
love to see you. Thank you for speaking to us, John.
Take care, lads.
Yeah.
Next up, we are going to have one of the many, many Hugheses. We're going to have Tom Hughes come and speak to us. A collection of class wins and podiums and good points results. Hello, Tom. How are you doing?
Good evening. Yeah, very good. Thank you. You?
I'm doing very well. Just talk us through the 2 races from your perspective. Of course, we saw you up and down the field because of all of the incidents, shall we say, between cars that involved you and didn't involve you. So how did that go from your side?
Yeah, I mean, the first race was chaos. I was just chatting with Aiden and Lorenzo before coming into this, and yeah, it was, I think, parting of the Red Sea essentially into turn 1. Went from whatever place I qualified in. I can't remember now. It's that long ago.
You were
yeah, straight up to P3. Wasn't expecting it. Honestly, felt a little bit like a pineapple out there, but who knows? Yeah, and then managed to hold off on those closing laps as well. It was a little bit close for comfort, but got the P3 in the end.
Yeah,
but yeah, that second race. Whew.
Yeah, good. It's still a good podium finish as well, and 6th place in the second race as well, which that was pretty chaotic as well with the little pack of 5 between 5th and 7th. You managed to, I guess, get out of it relatively unscathed, but
yeah, it wasn't quite the position that I'd like to have finished in. I think having been up to like P3, P4 earlier in the race, the hopes were there. But no, with a few incidents on my end and just mistakes really, no incidences. Yeah, I got a little bit unlucky with a couple of overtakes and kind of was on the back of the pack. But no, happy to come out unscathed for sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure at some point you're due for a race win as well too. I mean,
I hope so. I mean,
2 hogging it all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I quite got the pace. I think all these podiums that come from being in the right place at the right time. But hopefully, in the next few rounds, I can be in an even better place at an even better time.
Yeah, and we hope that comes out as well.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Thank you very much, Tom. We've only got 2 interviews left, but they are our 2 main interviews. They are our championship contenders. We're going to have our 2nd place in race 2 driver, and seemingly here every single week, Mr. Aiden Larson in first. Hello, Aiden. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm all right. How are you guys?
You sound a little exasperated there, my man.
Yeah, a little exhausted. It's quite tough fighting Lorenzo.
Oh my god! And then And then the race 1 as well. You two are involved in a little bit of a crash. Took you guys down to 5th and 6th.
Yeah, I'm not like basically because we went into turn 1 and 2. I don't know
Yeah.
if he cut across me or I drove into him. Either way, looked like I spun him, so I sat there and waited because I was like, "No, bugger it, let's have a race."
Yeah.
And yeah, so it took us a little bit longer to get to the front again, but yeah, it all worked out okay-ish in the end. I mean, we made it back to, as you said, I think P5 and 6.
Yeah, decent
Yeah.
haul of points for both of you. Are you thinking about the championship yet, or are you still very much focusing on race by race, just getting an absolute maximum?
I mean, right now, as far as I'm aware, Lorenzo and I are going to be pretty much neck and neck still after these races, assuming
Oh, yeah.
neither of us get any penalties. I don't know if he hit anyone, but I know I did, so going to
Yeah.
cross my fingers no one remembers that. But yeah,
Exactly.
otherwise, as long as we don't get penalties, it should be all fun and games. We should be pretty close.
Yeah, and I mean, you didn't win race 2, but in the end, you still you snuffed out that fastest lap as well. So it's about sometimes you got to take your little Pyrrhic victories here and there when you can't get the whole war, I guess. But
That's just it.
it's more motivation, right?
No, absolutely. I mean, look, he was bloody quick. I don't know what he did to his setup, but he's obviously found something in there to make it get some more
Yeah,
time.
he
'Cause
might
obviously he's
share
got
it
an
like
extra
you
10
did.
kilos on me. Hopefully, so we can have a look. But yeah, I mean, I was pretty stressed out that whole race. I mean,
Oh,
about 40 minutes before the qualifying, my wheel was cutting out any time I
oh
got like
yeah,
decent force feedback. So I was pretty shook about that. Luckily, it didn't cut out in the race.
yeah.
But that was definitely in the back of my mind for most of that.
Well, I think you should get yourself some much needed rest. It's just a cracking job from you, man.
Thank
Absolutely,
you very
love
much.
to see it.
And
Yeah,
good
I
luck
think a
next
shower
week.
is in order.
Yes,
No.
definitely. For the sake of the environment, I think a shower is in order for most people who in the BUSR. But never mind, we've got one interview to go. Thank you very much, Aidan, and I hope to see you here next week at Sepang.
Yeah, likewise. Hopefully see you there.
Oh yeah, cheers, man.
And finally, our race 2 winner and championship leader, kind of, maybe, we're not quite sure about penalties.
We'll see.
Lorenzo, hello there. How did that go from you? Race 2 win.
Good evening, gents. What's happening? I'm very hot. I'm sweating. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, Aiden was stressed after that race too. So it's like what can you really expect, man?
No, it was chaos. I mean, race 1 was absolute chaos. But I mean, thanks to Aiden, it was great sportsmanship for him to wait for me there in turn 1. And then a few incidents here and there, and but then race 2 was really good. It was a really good battle. It was good and it was fast and clean. I really enjoyed it. It was very good with Aiden.
And we enjoyed watching it as well. And even that battle that you guys had in race 1, it wasn't necessarily for first, but at the same time, you were only separated overall by 3 points. So it's like every last confrontation, you got to take that and just get those wins. But yeah, no, it was he was keeping things consistent for the most part, but you managed to record in qualifying. You were sniffing at that 121 bracket as well. How did that feel?
Yeah, look, I didn't do too many laps over the week. Sometimes to do too much practice it makes things worse.
Yeah.
So the best I had done prior to that was I think a 22.2. But I knew that if I got it right, then I could maybe be in the high 21s. But 22.0 it was. But it seems like me and Aiden always find each other on track. It just doesn't matter if we lost, if we're in the front. We just always find each other. But it's
You're
good like
gonna
that.
I guarantee you at some point you two are just going to be walking out somewhere on holiday, right? And you're just going to randomly bump into each other.
I wouldn't honestly, the way it's going, I wouldn't put it past that happening, to be honest.
Yeah.
And
But
Lorenzo, have you
no.
looked ahead to next week with Sepang? You've got to be thinking about, it's an interesting track. It's a Formula One track. Does that affect how you go into it, knowing it's a wider track, or are you still going in with your current approach of not practicing too many times?
So I think like this Croft circuit is very technical and very tight. So with Sepang, I think because it's so much wider, there will definitely be a lot of time to find in using different lines in certain corners and stuff like that. So maybe a bit more practice this time around. But yeah, the high speed stuff is definitely gonna require a change to my setup because the setup's all over the place at the moment and not good for high speed. But yeah, it's going to be fun. At least it's a bit wider, like you guys said. So hopefully there'll be a bit more space on the circuits.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, especially as I look around that track map as well, the big straightaways into a little bit of a
Yeah.
hairpin. So, I mean, I imagine you'll find space to overtake each other.
I'm sure. We always seem to manage to get it right. Me and Aiden especially. So I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure the overtakes will be there.
Yeah, take the dub, man. Just take it.
No, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you for
no,
speaking
great
to us,
stuff.
Lorenzo.
Look forward to seeing you next week.
100%. Thanks for the stream, guys. You guys do an awesome job.
Pretty much appreciated, man. Cheers.
Cool, man. Ciao, ciao.
And that brings us to the end of round 5 of the season. We have still got 3 rounds to go. We're going to be here at the same time, in the same place, but this time we're going off to Malaysia. It is the Sepang International Circuit. That is the full Malaysian Grand Prix loop. For one, I'm thrilled at the prospect of a nice, wide, fast circuit for these lovely little cars. And I'll be here next week, Ozzy. I'm assuming you'll be here too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll be here. And I don't know, just the overall shape of it. I can't help but look at the track and think, that's oddly shaped like kind of like Senegal in a way, where it's got like the big mouth, and then you've got like in Senegal's case, you got like Gambia inside of it as well across the river.
It's definitely an interesting layout. A lot of our tracks this season have been boxes with tails.
Yeah.
Well, Malaysia's almost
That's like
the
an
inverse.
inverted tail.
It's a box with an inverted tail. So if you want to come and watch us race around a box with an inverted tail, then come and join us next week. Thank you to the series organisers for putting this race on. Thank you to our broadcast team for making us actually appear on your screens. And thank you for watching. We've been the BUSR. Good night.
Take it easy for Chill Vanity.
There is no place and no moment in history where I could stand and say, oh, it begins here, now.